Welcome all the DNA students for the session on Standards for Quality of Nursing. In the last session, we have learned about quality assurance, nursing audit and evaluation of nursing services. In continuation of that, the standards of nursing services are very relevant and very important to understand, because standards are some criterion against which one can compare what is the ideal one, where we have to reach and what we are giving or doing. Even in day-to-day life, what we understand by the standard is, for any educational institution or any other thing, we say what is the standard of that institution. It is there are some defined criterions which are being taken into consideration when we do some evaluation or do accreditation process. Most of you must be aware of NABH process. There they have certain standards against which the hospital services, infrastructure and other things are being compared and accreditation is being given. Before going into detail, let us review what is the definition of a nurse. I think all of us have studied the definition of nurse in our basic course in the first year. So, nursing is the protection, promotion and optimization of health and abilities, prevention of illness and injury, facilitation of healing, alleviation of suffering through the diagnosis and treatment of human response and advocacy in the care of individual, family, groups, communities and population. Actually, this definition serves a foundation for description of scope and standards of nursing practice. The professional organization of any country are responsible for defining what is the scope of nursing practice and what are the standards of nursing practice. In your blog, American Nurse Association standards are being given, but these standards actually needs to be revised also. So I will go through some of the revised standards by the American Nurse Association. Standards of practice. Standards of practice describe a competent level of nursing care as demonstrated by the critical thinking model known as the nursing process. The nursing process includes the components of assessment, diagnosis, outcomes, identification, planning, implementation and evaluation. According to nursing process, actions taken by the nurse forms the foundation of the nurse decision making. In our country, very few hospitals or very few nurses use the nursing process. There are various reasons. In the government hospital, the way nurses are being overburdened because the ratio of the nurse and patients are very high. Sometimes in the evening and night, it is 1:100 or 200 even. It's not possible to implement nursing process. But yes, where the ratio is 1:1 or 1:3 or 1:5, it is important that every nurse should use a nursing process steps. Standard 1 is assessment. The nurse collects patient data and information related to the patient health conditions, present, past, family history and other related history is collected and physical assessment is being done. Then Standard 2 is diagnosis. The nurse analyze the assessment of data to determine actual and potential diagnosis, problems and issues. So, nursing diagnosis is being made. What are the problems with the patient? They are being listed down. Standard 3 is outcomes identification. The nurse identifies expected outcome for a individual plan for the patient or for certain problem. Standard 4 is planning. The nurse develops a plan that describes various nursing actions or strategies to attain the expected measurable outcomes. With the plan, objectives are also set. So, what are the expected outcomes? Standard 5 is implementation. The nurse implements the plan. Then, coordination of care. It is sub-part of implementation. The nurse coordinates with all the departments and co-professionals to deliver the care. Second sub-part is health teaching and health promotion. The nurse use all the strategies as per the need to promote the health of the patient and to provide a good environment. And standard 6 is evaluation. The nurse evaluate the progress of the patient against the objectives which she has set. There are some standards for the professional performance of a nurse. A standards of professional performance describe a competent level of behavior of a nurse in a professional role, which includes standard 1, ethics. A registered RN, RM, that means registered nurse and registered midwife. Like in our country, in some countries there is RN separate and RM separate. That's why I am telling RN, RM nurse practice ethically. Standard 8 is culturally competent, congruence care is being given. That means a registered nurse practice a manner that is in culture with the patient's culture, because we have diverse cultures in our country. So whosoever comes, you have to take into consideration their culture, beliefs, values, all these things. Communication. A nurse communicates effectively in all areas of practice. Standard 10 is collaboration. Nurse collaborates with healthcare consumers, that is with the client and other stakeholders, to give nursing care. Leadership. That is, nurse leads within the professional practice setting for an profession. That means within a scope of nursing practice, she leads the team. Education. The nurse seeks knowledge and competence that reflects current nursing practice and promote futuristic thinking. Nurse keeps updated her knowledge and skill, take decisions for the present and plans for the future. Standard 13 is evidence-based practice and research. That is very important nowadays. You must be hearing this term very frequently. The nurse integrates evidence. That means whatever evidence she has got from various research, she will try to implement that and again do some good research to find out further evidence. Standard 14 is quality of practice. The registered nurse contributes to quality of nursing practice. Then standard 15 is professional practice evaluation. The nurse evaluates own and others' nursing practice. All nurse managers, all nursing personnel should evaluate your own practice, and others also as per the whatever the format or the forms you are, checklist you are using. Standard 16 is resource utilization. A nurse utilized all the available minimum resources to plan, provide and sustain care and provide evidence-based nursing services that are safe, effective, affordable and acceptable to the patient. So you see, these are some of the standards which American Nurse Association has highlighted. In our country, we are still in a process of making a good standards, and NABH has come out with some of the standards which I will tell you just in few minutes. The vision of the government or any health system is to provide accessible, affordable, available healthcare through all the healthcare institutions. In various states, government has now made state level and the district level quality assurance cells also. They have made their own action plan where they do trainings and do assessment of performance, find out the gaps, improve the services to provide quality patient care. Why standards are required in the nursing care especially? Standards in nursing care help in promotion of safe care to services to the patient, provide efficient and effective care, provide cost-effective care to the patient, provide competent care by the competent nurses, provide ethical nursing care, which also act as a catalyst for self-improvement, these standards, as already I have told you. NABH standards, there are NABH Nursing Excellence Standards. There are complete set of standards are there for the quality improvement of nursing services. I will just tell you some of them, that is nursing resource management, nursing care of the patient, management of medication, education, communication guidance, infection control practices, empowerment and governance, nursing quality indicators. So, nursing resource management, nursing care of patient and management of medication. I will just tell you in brief some of them. Nursing resource management. Nursing professionals are very crucial manpower and in the hospital and for the healthcare system, because they are available for 24 hours duty in all the 3 shifts, and they are very close to the patient for the patient care. As you know, it's very important to you to understand what nurses should do in this. Plan in advance right number and right type of nurses you required in your hospital. Job description should be ready and available. Select and recruit right qualified nurses. Provide orientation and on-the-job training and post them as per their competency and experience. Produce manuals for the reference, update their knowledge and skill, provide on-the-job training for present responsibilities and for the future task, provide opportunities for career and professional advancement. Mechanisms for grievance redressal should be there. Motivate them to make them feel they are wanted and retain them. These are some of the objectives which I have told you against the first standard. So can you understand what we have studied previously also? You can relate those things with these norms. They are the standard norms. So second is nursing care of patient. Guide and encourage patient safety, quality care as the overall principle of providing nursing care to patient. Organization support nursing services to provide systemic nursing care with specific emphasis on planning your nursing process, 4 steps: assessment, planning, implementation and evaluation. Registered nurse in collaboration with the patient, family and the team members assess, make decision, plan, implements and evaluate the nursing care. Nursing professional practice according to code of ethics. Nursing services promote and initiate measures to create learning environment that support patient advocacy and ethical practice. Uniform nursing care is provided to all patients in different settings. Empower nursing personnel in managing patient in all the situations. Can you relate them? Some of them, most of them rather, are similar to what I have told you regarding American Nurse Association standards. We have much more in detail as per NABH. The concepts remains the same, because the basic concepts of the nursing care, wherever in whichever country we do nursing care, it remains the same. Third was management of medication. Designated nursing personnel shall be consulted during policy formulation. It's very important. Nurse manager should be involved in the policy making in formulation of what type of medicines are required, what type of syringes and other things are required. Nursing staff will ensure availability, safe storage, administration of medication and monitoring of the side effects. They will have a oversight on all the stocks, especially the expiry medicines, and maintain the good inventory and practice good inventory control practices. Availability of emergency medication, all the guidelines should be followed and they should be monitored. Every high-risk medication order should be verified by an appropriate person. Monitoring of patient after medication. There shall be sometimes the doctors give you verbal order, but there should be a verbal order policy which would enable nursing professionals that to accurately capture what is the verbal order and actually the doctor has given and you have implemented. So every nurse manager should see there is a verbal policy order. There is within 24 hours that order should be in writing and it should be signed by that doctor. Then education, communication and guidance. Organization ensure that nursing personnel are ensured in communication skills and soft skills. Communication skills are the crux of your care. Why so many conflicts with the patient and the family and within the nurses and within the co-professionals? It is all due to communication. So if your communication is effective, all things will be reduced. Patients are informed of their rights and the responsibilities also in the hospital. Patient and families have the right to know about their treatment and other information, and they should be given in a language what they understand. That's why nowadays there is a citizen charter or hospital charter for the patients. That is, you have to see whatever you communicate, that should be within the policy of the hospital. Do not ensure anything what you cannot give. what is against your policy. Never give false assurance. Even if the patient is going to recover, don't say patient will totally recover. Say we are doing our best and we see that doctors are giving treatment, we are giving care. You have to wait and see how much they recover. Never say yes, they will recover. Sometimes the patient dies also. Then there is a fight between patient, family and the staff. Next is your infection control practice. I will not go in detail. I will just tell you brief some of the points. The standard guides provision of an effective infection control program in an hospital. The hospital should provide all the adequate facilities to support the staff for infection control. All the facilities, the minimum action taken plan, your policies, biomedical waste management guidelines, all should be trained, and all type of bags and other equipment and supplies should be provided to the patient. Your infection prevention control team and infection prevention control nurse has a very important role to play in this. Your isolation and barrier nursing, especially during COVID, remember it's a part of your infection prevention control practice. Isolation is separation of ill person who has communicable diseases. For a period of isolation varies from disease to disease because it prevents transmission, and you have to focus on your isolation nursing care. Okay, that is very important to remember especially during this time. Empowerment and governance, it's a mix that encourage the governance of the organization in a professional and ethical manner. All the nurses, they become managers, they have to work within the professionally and ethically. Responsibility of the nursing professional performing management functions are defined. Nursing service is led by a professional nurse who is highly qualified and experienced and is take all the decisions for the profession, make a plan, write a philosophy of your organization, set objectives, and day to monitoring is being done and evaluation of care is being done by her, and see that all the nurses are trained and standards of nursing care is being maintained. Then nursing quality indicators are being defined by them so that whenever they do evaluation, they do against these standards. So these were standards by the NABH Nursing Excellence Standards. Briefly, I will tell you about from the document of Ministry of Health and Family Welfare regarding the district hospital standards, what they have defined. The document was revised in 2018. They say there are some comprehensive features of the standards. That is comprehensiveness. They should be contextual. They should be user-friendly, evidence-based, objective, flexible, and transparent standards should be maintained. They have divided the standards into various categories. First of all, area of concern is service provision. They have 6 standards in this, like the facility provides curative care, the facility provides RMNCHA, that is reproductive, maternal, neonatal, child health and neonatal services. Facility provides diagnostic care. The facility provides services under all the national health programs. The services provide the support services and provide appropriate services to the community as per the need. Second area of concern is patient's right. You will see all are interrelated. It's given by your NABH or American Nurse Association or by Government of India. Most of the components are same, only the way they had made standards are different. Under patient rights are the facility provides information to the patients, attendants, that is their relatives and community, about the available services. Then service deliver in manner which are sensitive to their religion, culture, caste. The facility maintains the privacy and confidentiality of the patient information. They established some system of informing patient about the medical condition of the patient and the progress of the patient. The hospital or the facility ensures that there is no financial barriers in access of the services, and define the framework of ethical management, including dilemma of providing care. Third aspect is area of concern is input. That means the hospital or the facility has the infrastructure for delivery of assured services, and available infrastructure meet all the standards. The hospital is ensured the physical safety of the infrastructure. It has a safety measures to handle the disasters. The facility has adequate qualified trained staff to provide the care. They have all the drugs, consumables, equipments and supplies, and they have defined procedures, SOPs in place so that the patient gets a competent care. Then the fourth area of concern is support services. They have all the support services, equipments which provide the care. In short, I will tell you: maintenance of the services, coordination of services, supply of water, electricity, security 24/7, dietary services are there, linens are provided for the patient, financial management or for running all the facilities are available. Then regulations, security, waste management and all other regulations, disaster management guidelines or regulations are followed. And one more area is clinical services. Clinical services means that they follow all the admission criteria, discharge criteria are being defined, clinical assessment and the lab investigations are being done for the patient as per the protocols, and care is being provided, nursing care is provided to the patient as per the guidelines. Then if the vulnerable groups, high risk vulnerable patients are given respect to them, the procedures of safe drug administration is taken into consideration. When patient is discharged, all the follow-up things are explained to them very clearly, and follow-up of whenever patient comes from follow-up, they are given proper due care. And intensive care facilities, ICU facilities are all available in the hospital. And operation theatre services and end of life and care of death is also taken care of. So you can see how the areas of concern are being defined. And then again there is an infection control separately they have given, and quality management is one of the concern area they have given separately, that every organization and facility should have a framework of quality improvement. They should establish a good patient-employee satisfaction in the hospital. There should be a internal and external quality assurance processes and procedures. All the documents should be saved properly for the quality and for the other legal issues. SOP should be available, and efficient assessment of medical assessment of medical and the death audit should be done and should be maintained properly. Quality policies, quality control issues should be, there should be a team, good methods and tools should be followed for that. Then outcome indicator. Lastly is the outcome indicator should be maintained, that every hospital or the facility should measure what are their outcomes to ensure that they have achieved the objectives under their hospital and meeting all the national health programs objective, and efficiency indicators to ensure that their hospital is providing efficient, cost-effective care, and the need-based quality care they are reaching to the community. So you can see how the standards are being implemented by various organizations, but the crux remains the same, is the you have to provide a quality patient care to the patient. During quality assurance, I told you three things, that is your input, process and output. Here also you will see there is a emphasis on input. How is your infrastructure, how is your staff, equipment, supplies, guidelines, protocols, these are the inputs. Then processes is how the care is being given in collaboration, what quality issues are being maintained, SOPs and guidelines are being followed or not, documentation is done or not. All these are processes. Patients are being explained or not the things, discharge, admission are done properly. Then the outcome is your patient satisfaction and utilization of service, mortality and the morbidity. So all the quality assurance standards are interrelated. If you see this, it's very important, but you have to see what your, in whichever organization you are working, you have to see the standard SOPs which are available there. Are they following NABH or NQAS or any other organization, or they have their own standards? You have to see what your organization is following. Go back and see what are the standards available in your hospital, or go through, share with each other the standards which are available, so that you are aware of these standards. I hope now you can relate what is the relationship between the quality of nursing care, evaluation, nursing audit and the standards. Nursing audit is also done against these standards. Unless these standards are available, nursing audit cannot be done. Excellence of nursing services can be done against these standards. So standards are very important. There has to be a team of professionals who will make these standards. Your professional organizations have to play very important role in making these standards. I hope the unit regarding standards is clear to you. Still, if you have any issues, although I know some of you have gone through the unit and asked the questions also to me, and we have done the discussion also. Again, one of you have asked about the legal aspects. Again, it depends upon country to country, to organization to organizations, where especially in India we are following the Consumer Protection Act but you have to see what are the liabilities of the health personnel under Consumer Protection Act, because various amendments have been done. So in this way we have today completed our unit on quality assurance, standards and the evaluation of nursing services. Thanks for attending the session. I request to all the students, before you leave, please give your feedback. Thank you.